We're going to do the ANZACs, the Canadians, and the French on the same turn. Well, the same video anyway. It's 3 different turns, technically speaking. So the Canadians with their $7 are purchasing a transport. The Aussies with their $10 are purchasing a transport and an infantry. They have no combat moves to speak of in the game right now, but they do have some non-combat moves that they're going to be making. So up in Canada, the forces in Ontario, the infantry and the artillery, will be moving into Quebec. The forces that are already in Quebec, the infantry and the tank, will be boarding the British transport in C-Zone 106. The forces in Scotland will be moving south to help with the defense of the United Kingdom. In North Africa with the French, oh, there was a move I forgot to mark. Hang on one sec. Sorry, North Africa with the French, the infantry in Algeria will be moving into Morocco to join the other French infantry that's there, and the infantry in French West Africa will be making his way to French Central Africa. The 2 ships in C-Zone 93, the destroyer and the cruiser, will be making their way to C-Zone 96. The French infantry in Syria will be moving south to Transjordan. The French destroyer in C-Zone 72 will be moving up to C-Zone 81. And all the rest of the moves are Australian moves. So let's have a look at what's going on here down in Australia. The 2 New Zealand fighters are going to move to the airbase in Queensland. The New Zealand cruiser and the Australian destroyer are going to move from their respective C-zones into C-Zone 54. 1 ANZAC infantry will be boarding the transport in C-Zone 62 and going to claim Java from the Dutch. So they'll be landing in Java. And finally, the fighter from the airbase in Queensland is going to be flying to Malaya. Oh, sorry, not finally, sorry. The rest of the forces in New South Wales, the infantry and 2 anti-aircraft artillery, will be moving north into Queensland. So I'll tidy up the board, then we'll do placements and unit disposition. Okay, before we get to the placement of new units, I did take a move back. I'm not moving the French infantry in Algeria, and I can't remember if I mentioned it, but I did move the French Navy from 93 to 96, so that's where they are now. Okay, in terms of placement, the Canadians are going to put their new transport in the only place that it can go, C-Zone 106. And the Aussies are going to place their new transport and infantry in the only place that it can go, C-Zone 62 and New South Wales. Okay, in terms of income adjustments, there is only one. The Aussies do get to claim Java for $4. So that's going to change the income tracker. They go from 10 to 14. I'm not going to go all the way over there, but they go from 10 to 14. So they will collect a base income of 14. None of their bonuses kick in yet because they are not at war with the Japanese. The Canadians have $7 worth of income. Their bonuses do not kick in yet because they have to figure out a way to get one of their land units into a French territory, which they're going to attempt to do on the next turn. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so that's income. So we'll do distribution of forces. Way up in Canada, in the Great White North. In Quebec, there's an infantry and an artillery. In C-Zone 106, there is a Canadian transport, but also British transport. And on board the British transport are a Canadian tank and a Canadian infantry. In UK, there are 2 Canadian infantry that just came down from Scotland. We might as well do the French while we're here as well. There's 2 French infantry and 1 French fighter in England. In North Africa, in Morocco and Algeria, there is 1 infantry each. And in French Central Africa, there's an infantry. In C-Zone 96, there is a cruiser and a destroyer. In Transjordan, there's a French infantry. In C-Zone 81, there's a French destroyer. Moving east into the Pacific, in Malaya, there is an ANZAC infantry and an Australian fighter. In C-Zone 42, there is an Australian transport, and in Java, there is an Australian, or an ANZAC infantry. Zoom out a smidge. In Queensland, there are 2 New Zealand fighters, 3 ANZAC infantry, 1 artillery, and 2 anti-aircraft artillery. In New South Wales, there's an infantry. In C-Zone 62, there is a transport, and in C-Zone 54, there are 2 ships, a destroyer and a cruiser. Finally, in New Zealand, there's a lone little ANZAC infantry. So that should be the minor powers' turn. Not a particularly exciting one, but they did move some pieces around. And officially, we will move the turn tracker from 1 to 2. Germany is up next. Germany turn 2 coming up.